welcome to another amazing episode of Rethink Healthcare. I'm one of your hosts, Wendy Ball, and this is...
Mr. Montenegro.
Yay.
Yay.
I think the enthusiasm is running out. No, Mr. Montenegro is awesome.
So should I do Paul Montenegro next
Paul
time?
Montenegro,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yes.
I thought I'll change it up.
Yes, my good friend Paul.
Yes.
From nursing school.
Yes, we've gone way back.
Yep,
Yes.
hard times there, right?
Yes, as students. And speaking of that,
Yes.
for this episode, what we want to do is we looked at some of the comments from some of the questions that we have had out there, and we kind of want to respond to that because we were students at some point.
We were.
And we know how you feel.
Yes, we do.
We know how you feel, and we know it could be frustrating. Luckily for us, I think we both passed our NCLEX the first time around, right? And
but we've cried, we've been through it all, right?
Yes.
So
it wasn't an easy journey.
No.
But for some of the comments that we were getting is people kind of venting their frustration on not being able to pass the exam.
Okay, so
And I think the next generation questions, the NGN questions, seems to really have tripped a lot of people up. And mind you, we didn't have NGN at that time when we took it. So maybe NGN will make us fail this time around. I don't know. But
so we kind of got two things. We got like the psychological of your mental well-being of, am I going to pass this test? And if I don't, what am I going to do? And then we have the practicality of getting through these NGN questions.
Yes.
So which one are we going to hit first?
So let's first talk about statistics.
Okay.
Right. So if you look at the statistics on pass rates for U.S. educated nurses, this is I'm going to speak for RN and PN.
Okay.
I mean, the numbers are slightly different, but I'm just going to generalize in both, right? So for U.S. educated, the pass rates are actually very good. It's like close to 90%, like 86, 87%.
That's my school's like almost 90%, like we're like 90%.
Yes.
So, woo!
So some states fare better than others, but I'm just, in generality, that's how it is. Now, for international students, right? The numbers are actually a bit more lower. Actually, a stark difference. It could be into the 50s.
Okay, but the language, is it always in English? The NCLEX
The
for the
NCLEX
international
has to be given in English.
Yes, so that could be a huge language barrier
Possibly.
for some of those
Possibly.
students.
So, because we have international students who also listen in. So, knowing the statistics really helps, right? Now, for those who said they have failed and have to retake it again, the statistics are pretty low. So for the second time test takers, the numbers are actually much lower, about 30% pass rates in those. So let's kind of first look at, if you're a first-time test taker, you've got a good chance, statistics-wise, that you'll be okay. Now, don't be overconfident. The best way to get through a board exam is to really think, okay, I really got to buckle down. If you come in there overconfident, chances are you're going to be the percentage that's not going to make it.
Practice.
Yes. But it's also important to make sure that when you're studying, you have to don't think about self-preservation, because historically, when you study, you want to study what you already. Most people study what they already know over and over again because it makes them feel good.
Yeah, like oops, I got that.
I know that, right?
I know the cardiac. Whoop,
And
whoop.
statistically, people will kind of ignore stuff they usually struggle with.
Yeah, sometimes like I ignore like cleaning the toilet at home because I just don't want to do that, right?
Same thing, right? But this, and I say that because you have to, from a study habit perspective, right? If you're spending a lot of time studying, you cannot be high energy studying the whole time.
No.
There's just the body doesn't work that way. Your mind doesn't work that way. So you have what you call high energy, low energy brain. High energy brain is when you have to really focus on the tough tasks. So when you're going to focus on areas that you're very weak on, you need to be tackling that part at your time that you're most alert, you're most rested. That's the high energy brain.
Yeah.
Now, since if you've been studying all day, you probably spend 20% of the time in a high energy brain and 80% of the time in the low energy brain. So when you're in a low energy brain, you're not able to really absorb
like new complex
tough,
or tough.
Exactly. You're not able to absorb it. And what happens then is that to make you feel good, you'll just study over what you already know.
You're like,
so you're spending 80% of your time in stuff you already know. Not very efficient.
No, you already know it.
Exactly.
You're already going to get those right.
Not very efficient. So don't forget, right? So think of high energy, low energy, right? And then on the stuff that you're weak on, use high energy time for that.
Woo, high energy, low energy.
Take breaks all the time. Frequent breaks is what's going to help you, because to encode something in your brain and to really absorb it, you need to rest your brain to let it sink in.
Yeah, so like 3 hours, you can't be doing 3 hours at one time. You can do 3 hours in a day. You can do 5 or 6 hours in a day, but you have to break it up.
You got to break it up.
Like 40 minutes.
15, 30, depends on the person, right? But for
40
me,
max I would do, but maybe 15, 30.
15, 30 minutes, you know, and get off the seat, kind of walk, just change the environment.
Get a granola bar.
Yeah. But again, you need to focus on, dancing is good, right? So those are just, just a couple of tips to kind of consider, right? Now, let's talk, the second part of the questions are really the comments are like the NGN stuff. Do you have any, you teach this stuff. Is there anything from the NGN perspective?
Well, I think with the NGN, I think we can get really, we can kind of talk to ourselves and think we're not going to be able to do that. And I think that's like self-sabotaging.
Yes.
Really, no, I believe it's about 80% are your traditional questions. So the NGN's only about 20%. I'm not saying don't spend time on learning how to answer those questions appropriately, but don't get mentally bogged down thinking I'm not going to pass because of those NGNs. We have to get our mind in the right frame of mind to be able to have a positive outcome. So hopefully you have practiced those. Obviously the NGN is new. It's new for everybody. It has not been out that long. So even as your school is learning, maybe incorporating more of those NGN questions, I think just getting a little access to them. A good program. I hear Pass LPN's a great program.
Yes, passlpn.com,
Yeah.
So keep in mind, right, the NGN is just a different way of them asking the question. The core of the question has not changed.
Nope. I can take that same. Sometimes I'll change the question. I'll take a select all question and I'll change it on into one of the other NGN type style questions. So it's the same information. Don't get overwhelmed by it.
Yes, for sure. So that kind of addresses the main comments that people are asking. Was the frustration, and yes, we feel you, we understand. Right, but then you have to have a strategy on how you're going to tackle this. And how you're going to tackle the information's out there. And if you need to take a review course, go ahead and do that. Right, but then be mindful of the stuff that you don't know. You need to know where your blind spots are. So, like in the next episode, maybe why don't we could get into that a bit more? On and I think that's a great point. Just like we do the nursing process, right? Assess what things in your study habits or what things you need to learn. Right? Come up with what they are and make a plan of what you're going to do and actually implement that plan and then see how you are doing with that. So, yeah. All right. So, thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
So this is another episode. Done. Right? We got another one coming up though. So join us next time.
Next one I want to dive into more ways that we've been able to kind of curate programs to kind of help us.
I'm looking forward to that. So check us out next week. We'll see you for the next one.